Speaking of things that girls don't like, Toto.
I don't think that's true. I think they,
No,
at least back
it's
in the
not true
day,
either.
they cleaned up. They cleaned up so much.
You saying Toto fucked?
Oh yeah. Oh, like beyond.
Toto
This
fucked.
is how much Toto fucked. There's a Frank Zappa song that makes a reference to someone hooking up with a band, and then he's been like, I don't know if it was Toto or some other. Like Frank Zappa made a reference to Toto fucking. That's how much Toto fucks.
Well, then Toto fucked.
Just want to be
Let's
put that in there. I'm gonna hide this later in the episode or something. I can't open with. Here's why Toto fucked.
I mean, you can't. Well, it's one of those shorts. Toto fucked.
I know that on Facebook, and I've met him for real. I know this bass player, Killian Duarte, and he's a great bass player, very working bass player. He's been in a bunch of bands, played with a lot of bands since like the Gent era, and really incredible player. And obviously a great professional because he's been hired by so many people over the years, and he also does his videos on Instagram, stuff like that. So he is in this new tech metal band, Abiotic, and part of that band and some guys from another couple bands, Suicide Silence and Job for a Cowboy, got together and covered Africa. I guess you'd say it's like, they're claiming it's like metalcore, I think. It was kind of metalcore / not that technical tech death, I guess, because metalcore is kind of like an influence for tech death, at least some of the current tech death. I don't know. It's all of these words are meaningless, but
correct. That's a fact.
But we listened to this, their cover of Africa, unfortunately, and nothing against them, and I'm sure for metal fans it's fine. But if you're a Toto respecter, it's not up there in terms of Toto covers, in terms of the appreciation of the source material.
So, yes, that is 100% true all the way around. I think the biggest problem, though, is there aren't good Toto covers. Because there can't be good Toto covers at a certain point because of who was involved in Toto.
Yeah. So, sort of. I might have some counterpoints to that. You after I sent you this abomination, you sent me a list of not just Toto covers, but also
Africa
42 different covers of Africa specifically. So I went through this very aggressively. I didn't listen to all of them, but like most of them. I wouldn't say I finished most of them though, because I was just very like okay, listen to a little bit. It's either okay, it's decent, or it's right out. And I would say I wouldn't mind a Toto cover. Not that you're gonna like. It's hard to really nail it and live up to the original anyway. This one dude, there's this YouTube guitar player, Martin Miller, and he's actually done pretty decent covers of Toto and other like I think some other yacht rock kind of stuff. Pretty competent, and he usually records like in a studio with a bunch of other good musicians. I don't know what else he does outside of that. He's like instrumental guitar player. Again, I know only from YouTube, but his covers were pretty. He's a good guitar player, and his covers were pretty decent. He's one of these guys I only heard of because all of a sudden he had a signature guitar, and I'm like, who has a signature guitar? But he's got a lot of views on YouTube, and they did really decent Toto covers. They did like Rosanna and stuff like that. I think they might have done Africa. It's not on this list, but
well, I will withhold final judgment until I hear his stuff. But I did pretty aggressively listen to things on this list, other than things that wouldn't play, because I assume this article is fairly old, and also things that are on
links.
Spotify, because Spotify is bad.
Yeah.
I hunted up any of them, or anyway, but yeah, there was not much on this list that was worth listening. There was one I thought was of value. After I went through it, I thought to myself, we need a little bit of a rubric for how and why these things are bad. So I took some notes. I didn't take notes on specific things. I wrote down how I think that rubric should go.
Okay.
I have 6 points. Yeah, so I'm just going to go over these real quick. I don't know. You might not agree. I might not care. But I wrote them out, so I'm going to read them.
Let's do it.
Yeah, 6 criteria for judging covers of Africa. Number 1, first and foremost, production. Toto's Africa is a big old pile of production fuckery, and it's awesome because of that.
Yeah.
If your production sucks, your cover sucks.
Good point.
Period.
Fair point.
You can't have a cover of Toto that has bad production and have it be acceptable. It's not allowed.
Seems reasonable.
Yep. Number 2, attitude. It's important that you take this cover the correct amount of seriously. Don't make it dark and moody. Don't make it boring. Don't disrespect the source. You should be having fun because you're playing one of the best songs of all time, but you should still be serious enough to do it correctly. Some of these bands were, I don't know what the hell they were doing. We have to cover Africa. We don't want to do it.
They're doing it because it's a hit and not because it's Toto.
There's some bands that were like, we're really serious. We're gonna make it dark. We're gonna make it no. It's still Africa. You have it's Africa.
They're not Toto respecters.
No, they're not Toto respecters. So you have to have the right attitude, or your cover sucks. Number 3, execution. Did you fuck it up? Do you have the chops to play a Toto cover? Were you in the pocket? Were you anywhere near the pocket?
The goal
have
is the
you
pocket.
Heard of the pocket?
Do you know what the pocket is?
Why would you disrespect Jeff Porcaro like this?
Oh, that's a good point.
It is. It's important. Very. 4, did your cover do anything? Is this a straight up, it's the same song, but worse because we're not Toto? Is this a reimagining that's bad because you don't write songs as well as Toto? Did you bring anything new to the table? Was it worth bringing to the table in the first place? What was this cover for? 5, kind of ties into that. Why? Why did you do this?
Why
did you think you could or should do this? Did you chase a trend? You chased a trend, didn't you? How dare you?
Oh, that's a very good point.
6, are you Weezer? Fuck you, Rivers. Fuck you for Weezer.
Yes.
Those are my criteria.
Good point. Yeah, so you should not be Weezer because you're right. They probably were a lot of people who just did it because Weezer did it. And a lot of people just did it because it was literally a huge hit for Toto. And
that's also, point number 5.
It's very much a Toto song that is big enough that people know it and don't even know it's Toto. Like I remember back before I was even really listening to a lot of Toto, we used to do it at karaoke, and so would a lot of other people. And several of these songs, that was my note, is like sounds like karaoke Africa, especially with you get certain phrasing wrong, certain cadence. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Excellent criteria. I agree completely. We are
Toto respecters.
Exactly. But my thought during this was, in terms of like criteria and rules and such, is that honestly, after this list, the rule should be don't cover Africa. Just don't cover Africa. That's the gist of it.
Yes. If there was one here that I thought was okay. I don't want to spoil it.
Don't spoil it yet, because I have a lot of notes on ones I thought were not okay.
Yes, most of them.
I don't have a problem covering Toto. I think that you need to do one of two things though, because I agree with all those criteria, and lots of, if you don't meet, like, I don't know what it's got to, like, how many of those criteria need to be on the right way for it to pass. Like it needs, like, you know, like in the DSM, usually then it's like if you have like 5 or 6 of these traits, you have whatever disorder. How many traits of a good cover Toto song do you need to like qualify, or vice versa? How many bad to like disqualify? Like,
well, so we have 6 points. Honestly, one is pretty specific to a pretty specific cover, so maybe that doesn't hold true across all.
Right,
and it might to a little bit. Some of them might be inspired by it.
They weren't all necessarily like stated as positive or negative, so maybe 6 should be like, don't be Rivers Cuomo. Like you phrase them in the form of a question usually, but
yeah, well, these you're right. These were not pass-fail criteria. These were questions that we have to ask.
You didn't know I was going to demand that it be made into the form of a psychological disorder. Like, but it might be, because I mean,
that later.
If 43 bands, including Abiotic, have covered Africa,
here's where I'm going to look
at it. A musical disorder.
Favorably on 3 out of 5, your cover is not like a war crime. It's probably bad still,
yeah,
but it's not. You're not like Pol Pot.
The Pol Pot of Toto covers. Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Yeah, if you pass half of them, including not being Rivers. Well, maybe that's like a bonus almost. I don't know, because a lot of people will pass not being Rivers Cuomo, or maybe it's like a free space in bingo.
Yes, that's exactly what
the free space for everyone but Weezer,
which is important. Actually, that checks out perfectly.
Yeah, and also if you are Weezer, you're just automatically disqualified. It doesn't matter. Not that they passed any of the others, but it doesn't matter.
No, they sure as hell did.
Because that was really bad.
It was terrible.
And it was literally just because some fan like was trolling them to do it, and they're like, "Moo." My note for Weezer was OBV, like obviously, like just I'm not even gonna write more than 3 letters. You know it's bad.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll start going through some of my my notes, the ones that I found notable, and then chime in if you have.
Yeah, I didn't take specific notes on any of them. I kind of remember most of what happened to. I gave them approximately 2 listens. So yeah, I should be able to speak off the cuff on most of them pretty well.
I didn't even give most of these one full listen. So
they weren't all good. A lot of it was. Okay. Oh yeah, this again. No.
It's like someone was just like, you're done.
Nope. Yep,
out. Correct. Like I'm bouncing.
Oh God, yeah.
So we start with Matt Heafy, a guy from Trivium who's also a streamer, and I respect to like doing the streaming thing and like apparently taking song requests and stuff. But that's also what this sounded like. Someone was like, "Do Africa," and it looked like he looked up the chords and played them, and then like sang. I mean, he knew the song enough, but he also did it with the karaoke phrasing.
This failed on production, attitude, execution. Did your cover do anything?
Just no backing
and
track.
The why is because I guess someone probably asked for it,
right?
And that's not a good reason.
Maybe gave him money, but not enough to justify the abomination.
It was bad. It was half-assed.
The tones were very bad, and very inappropriate for Toto.
And I like Matt. I like what he does. Like you said, this is awful.
But
wow, he's
I'm not a fan. But it's fine. It's fine. Look, again, a respect is a streaming effort.
Well, maybe respect is a better word for it. Yeah, I don't.
I'm sure there's a guy. Like, I don't have anything against him personally.
Yeah,
just his band. Matt Heafy, Weezer, Chris de Burgh.
Well, hang on. We're glossing right over Weezer, and I feel the need to be a little bit angry about it for
I just didn't write anything down because I was just like,
no, it was
what you did,
Matt Heafy was the first one, and then they hit us with Weezer right away.
Yeah,
and I just want to reiterate, criteria number 6 is an automatic fail. Are you Weezer? Yes, unfortunately they're Weezer, so they can go all the way to hell. Weezer fans, get at me. I want to hear it. Bring it on. You suck. Your band sucks. Go away.
I liked one Weezer album when I was 14.
Everybody liked Hash Pipe. Oh, it's
I
so
didn't
heavy.
Like Hash Pipe. I fucking actually that's why I stopped listening to them. I heard Hash Pipe and I was like, no, fuck this shit. The Blue album, I was like, okay. I didn't actually. I guess I just missed the next one. But whatever.
I never liked any Weezer. I'll straight up say that.
I was also 14 at the time, and then I saw them in I think 2000 with Mertz, with your roommate. But Tenacious D was opening, and Tenacious D
a good thing
solid.
To go see. It's just a unfortunate pairing.
And I saw a Weezer play all like the songs I gave half a shit about, and then that was it. And I was like, I never need to hear Weezer again. And I never did
that bullshit for however long,
and so it is very funny to me that there are like people my age who are still like
huge Weezer fans. And
I think because they think they're like the more, because I remember I think they think it's more serious than like Blink-182 or Green Day, but it's really not. It's just
and even if it is, what does that do?
And more tired and depressed.
More serious than Blink-182. Yeah, okay. Well, Blink-182 is distinctly not serious.
Right, but also like
they have brand new music and it's not very good.
Musically, it's almost exactly the same like level of competence and quality and whatever.
I just wanted to cuss at Weezer a little bit more because I hate Weezer. Fuck you, Weezer. Fuck you, Rivers. Sorry.
Absolutely, it's always welcome. Always welcome here.
So,
all right. So Chris de Burgh.
Oh my God.
Not the worst, but probably because he's from the right era. But
this is a contemporary. This is a contemporary.
Right, he's a contemporary because he's the singer of.
At the same time, the problem was this was a cover that didn't do anything,
right,
at all.
True,
and
I agree. I had the same. Sorry, go ahead.
No, well, yeah, it didn't do anything. Not even a little bit. This was, and this is a guy who had access to pretty much the same kind of production facilities. This is a contemporary. He was in the era. He failed on the production with pretty much the same production facilities. It didn't sound very good. The attitude, he sounded like I don't know. He didn't want to do this. I don't think this. There was no life whatsoever to this cover.
Well, he's known for Lady in Red.
I know.
Which so it almost makes sense because it's such a like sleepy song. Lady in Red.
Yes.
Yeah, you like Africa. I don't expect him to like suddenly. But
so the problem here is I don't think we know why he did this.
That's true. And we don't.
And because he was a contemporary, I have this is a big why question. Why did this happen? Because a lot of the recent ones, we're chasing trends, whatever.
Good point.
Or we're all Toto respecters.
You're right.
Why did this happen?
He was probably depending on when he did it, because I'm really not sure. Could have been later in his career, just like album of covers. But he was probably chasing some kind of. He didn't have any more heat in the Lady in Red producing machine.
This is one of the ones that made me just the angriest because I felt like he should have been able to do this, and it was so. That's just how I looked at it. It was. I thought it was going to be at least fine.
Yeah,
and it was
not.
It sucked.
For me, I at first I thought it was okay, passable, and then I think I heard him say some long forgotten words or ancient memories, which is the wrong word, and so I think
he had a cadence problem overall on the whole thing, if memory serves, in addition to lyrical issues.
He got the lyrics wrong, and so I wrote, "You fucked up, disqualified." That's it. You're out. You bounced.
Yep. Yeah.
So
this is a failure on many of the criteria once again.
Turned it off. Moving on to the next one.
Yep.
Also, I did agree with you. I have one specific one at some point coming up where I wrote I actually prefer when someone tries to do something different because the odds that if they try to do it straight that it's going to be any good significantly drop because you're more if you do something that deviates while still respecting it, I think that is better.
Yep. Agreed. 100%.
So Ninja Sex Party.
I had to go hunt this one up because it failed in the article.
Yes.
I did kind of watch the video.
They're YouTubers.
It was okay.
The sounds were cheesy, but honestly, it was better than I expected with their track record. They do very silly, simple songs, and I think this is when they did like a bunch of covers or whatever. So whatever.
It was okay. It didn't make me want to like stab a puppy.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
It was just okay. The production was there. I think they actually did better than a lot of these bands on having the right attitude about the cover. I think this is a band that knows the line between tongue and cheek, and we still have to make a passable cover. So that's I think they got production, attitude, execution, kinda. Did the cover do anything? No. Why? Because they're that kind of band.
Yeah, they're not really capable of doing anything.
They got about 2.5 here. I'll give them production and attitude, maybe a 0.5 point in execution.
I think that's most of the music is like just below the line, just under the bar or just over the bar. Just hanging out near the bar. Not
because
the
they're not Weezer.
Not the pocket, the bar, the low bar.
Yep.
The bar which is low.
Yep.
There's a high bar, and you have to get to the pocket. You got to clear the high bar, but most things you just got to clear the low bar so that you don't get murdered or whatever.
But they also did a full video on it, which many of these were not.
That's what they always do, though. They are YouTubers, so
at least there's some effort there.
That's true. It was a decent video.
Even if it's already your setup, at least you put the time in to do it.
Yep, and that was the point where they already had pretty good video production too. So that's decent. That's points for that.
2.5 the criteria. I'm not angry at them.
Great. So the next one I have down is Pyogenesis. This one I kind of liked because it was different and it called them like a goth band, but like it had this kind of like, I don't know if you call it like a techno beat, but a very kind of like busy, you kind of like electronic beat.
This was German gothic metal kind of thing.
Yes. Pretty decent guitar tones, I thought.
It wasn't
some
either I had tired of this at this point and I had to get back into it. It wasn't memorable.
Okay.
I think it was just kind of. I think the production was fine, and like you said, it because it is a little bit of a different genre. It did something.
That stood out to
Um,
me. It definitely did something, and I was surprisingly pleased with the stuff it did. Like I had the cool beat, even though it's not like true to Toto. But again, if you're actually gonna like look, in a way, you're saying I'm not gonna try to
yeah, how was the
achieve the
attitude here?
pocket.
How was the attitude here?
And then I liked the guitar tones, and then the synths were a little goofy with the like very phasey, filtery kind of like sound. But whatever, I thought it was
German
alright.
Gothic.
Yeah,
You're gonna have that.
exactly. But I thought that it was
All
different
right.
enough. It got my attention.
I do want to just call out some things quick because you skipped over Howie Day, which was probably one of
Sorry.
the worst
I do have notes
things
for that.
on this list.
Yes,
It was awful. I don't know why that happened.
he's a solo singer songwriter. Him and an acoustic guitar,
Mhm.
and it gave me severe flashbacks to 2000s UW. It was like a guy you would hear the open mic at the Union,
Mhm.
for some reason covering Africa.
Mhm.
Very 2000s singer songwriter acoustic flashbacks. Bad times.
And he failed
Bad
on
stuff.
every single point. I don't think we can even give him
Bad.
the free space because I think he
Mhm.
might wish he was in Weezer. This is awful. The production was bad. The attitude was
Yeah.
what the actual.
Well, it sounded like it was probably recorded at a show. He's probably never recorded in a studio or anything. I don't know.
or maybe that is his studio. Maybe his production's awful across the board.
That's
It
possible.
might be his whole shtick. Cover absolutely didn't do anything. Why did he do it? I don't know. Probably because someone was like, "Hey, you suck. Here's a thing that people like. Maybe if you do this, people will like you." But I don't think they probably did.
Because singer songwriters have an entitlement problem. They think they can just play any song. They think it doesn't matter what instrumentation was in the original.
Christ.
They can just play it on acoustic guitar and it'll be fine. And sometimes they are wrong and they are committing music crimes.
Mhm.
And this is one of those times.
This young man may be Pol Pot. Also, subaudible hum was terrible. It doesn't really bear looking at.
Yeah, I don't think I wrote that one down at all because it was
I think I got through 30 seconds. This was on. I will point out this was on Triple J out of Australia on the Like a Version series, which has a lot of really good covers of stuff.
I've heard of that. Yeah,
I don't know how this possibly got included. I don't know anything about this band. Maybe this is a band that people like and they were just there. And I don't know. I don't know if they like draw covers or it's like, hey, surprise, you get to try to do Toto, and maybe this band was not capable of it. This was a mess. It was not listenable. I don't know. At least I know the why, but everything else was a fail. So
I have Lowry.
Yep, Lowry was next.
I actually don't remember it, so it wasn't very memorable. But what I have written down was this is the one where I was like, look, more offbeat versions are preferable because they feel like an homage and less an affront to greatness.
Mm-hmm.
But then their vocals came in and I turned it off. So
This guy could not sing at all. The female vocals on this were not so bad, and they saved parts of it. But this is another one that failed very badly on attitude. This
Okay.
felt like we're sad boys, we're all mopey, and it's this sad version of Africa. And no. You don't get to do that. It's not how it works. You don't get to change the attitude. You have to
Yeah.
match the attitude. No, sorry.
That's
Production was
totally
not
fair.
good. Attitude was not good. Execution was not good. The cover kind of did something. I'm realizing why is a problematic criteria for a lot of these because I have no idea and I don't care to know.
These are pretty good criteria if you ask me.
Well, if I maybe had I looked up why, then it might matter, but I didn't because
Yeah.
I hated a lot of these. Had there
that's
been more
fair.
things that were borderline, I might have looked to see if there was a passable reason. There are some here that have distinct reasons.
Yeah, I think I have a guess. I'm not going to say it yet as to which one you thought was acceptable. We'll get to that.
Okay. You might be wrong. You might actually be shocked. I think you're going to be
really
shocked.
Well, if you're saying that, then I'm almost certainly wrong because the one I thought might be okay was probably for like semi-obvious reasons.
Hackney Colliery Band. It was just some instrumental.
Literally,
who cares, pointless.
Horn band cover.
Yep.
It's like a whole genre now, and I'm always just like, look, I'm glad all these horn players are getting work, but no, thank you.
Yep.
Like I'm not interested. Nectar,
this might have been the other one you thought I might have been into.
This was the one I was going to say because it literally had Nectar is like a prog band I've never heard of.
Yep.
But literally had
It had Bobby.
Bobby
did the
Kimball on
vocals.
it, and keyboards from Patrick Moraz, who apparently is in Yes. He's not Rick Wakeman though, so he's like a different keyboard player.
Yep.
From Yes, who
So the problem with this
isn't Rick
was
Wakeman.
not that the execution wasn't there. It was that, well, no, that's not true. It's not that the band didn't execute. It's that this had bad Bobby Kimball.
Yeah,
Bobby Kimball
that's true. It was definitely
didn't
not
sing well on this at all.
living up to his original performance.
So that was an extra strike against them, because how dare you do that to Bobby?
I mean, did they do it to Bobby, or did Bobby do it to himself?
They released it. So if you recorded Bobby and he sounded like that, you should go, maybe we shouldn't put this out there. Might have been elder abuse. I didn't catch when this was recorded. Obviously, Bobby has had and is currently dealing with terrible health issues. Bobby's in real bad shape, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
Bobby sounded terrible. I hope they at least like paid him well or something. But he sounded really bad. The band was fine, but Bobby sounded bad, and that's a shame. So that's not the one. I understand why you might have thought so, but no. No. Here it is. This is the one. This was easily my favorite cover here. Shocked to find out that my favorite cover of Toto's Africa was by a Christian pop rock band named after a Plymouth Reliant, a terrible car from the 80s or 90s, whatever.
Yeah, Reliant K, who I've heard of.
I had also heard
Christian rock until this thing told me. I thought this one was fine. I didn't write anything down because I was just like, this is decent.
This was my favorite one.
Okay.
I thought the production was very good. The tone was very good. The guy hit all the notes. I thought his voice was really strong. I thought he added to it with a little bit of interpretation of it. There was some noodling in different parts that I thought was fun, and I thought it worked kind of with the themes and was doing something. They definitely had the right attitude. They were not making it dark or stupid. They were serious enough while still having fun. It sounded really good. Were they all the way in the pocket? I don't know. It's not Jeff Porcaro, but no one else is.
Yeah.
But it sounded really good. Like I said, the cover did something. It worked. I don't know why they did it. I should have looked. I'll look later.
So how many did they get out of 6?
That's 4 for me.
Okay, nice.
And I don't know why.
All right.
So
that's cool. I thought it was decent. I thought it was.
This was easily my favorite. My favorite Africa cover was by a Christian rock band named after a Plymouth.
I mean, at least they didn't Christianize it, right? They didn't like insert.
No, there was none of that. None of that whatsoever.
The problem with Christian rock bands is that if you listen too closely, you're gonna realize they're a Christian rock band.
This was a faithful cover. They respected the source. They respected the Toto. They might be Toto respecters. This was that good.
They might.
For me, this was the biggest bright spot on this whole list, if one of the only.
Right on.
I listened to it a third time. I was looking for stuff I wouldn't like, and it was good. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. All right. Eric Benet, and get another R&B.
Yeah.
Didn't really care.
Didn't work. No. Everything
singer,
was wrong.
The next one's some singer from Poland's X Factor and The Voice.
Oh, these were not good singers.
I didn't listen to much of this one.
I didn't bother.
It very much sounded like people who had been on the X Factor or The Voice.
Yeah, very much so. Yep.
Kala Malo didn't sound like a cover of Africa until the chorus comes in, and then
there was production here. This was obviously a budget went into this, and it was clearly trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I can tell, this was supposed to be some kind of political thing. So I think there might have actually been a why behind this that maybe was slightly important.
That's fair.
So while I didn't love the song, I think it's probably got a pretty fair score here. Good production. They looked like they were having fun with it and not shitting all over it. The execution, well, hard to say because it's not a super faithful cover. It's a reimagining of it. So did they execute what they were doing? Yeah, and it did something. So I think you're pretty good on most of those 4, and I think the Y is something. So even if it's not my favorite song, I think this passes.
Oh, not bad. Alrighty, right on.
Shocking.
You have more specific criteria than I did. I just complained that it started off and I was like, this isn't Africa. But then it got there and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yep.
So I didn't listen to Leo Moracchioli featuring Hannah Bolton and Rabia Masad because I remember when it came out.
Yep.
Leo Moracchioli.
Leo does a ton of covers. He's a very popular YouTuber.
They all sound the same.
Yes, they do.
One note. He does the same thing on every song.
His vocal tone is kind of unpleasant.
Well,
she's not
guest
bad.
vocalist. And Rabia is another like the third string Andertons guy, but now with his own YouTube. And I remember this shit, and I don't. No, thank you. I'm not gonna listen to it again.
The one thing this did that I thought was at least a little interesting was after it was like, oh, the video's over. Oh, surprise, psych. And then they did like a very heavy approaching blackened kind of version of it. And that was, well, it was interesting. It did something with it that wasn't awful. It also helped that no one was singing all that much during that. Like we said, Leo can't sing all that well, but that was okay. Other than that, it's just another one of his covers, and he's done a million of them.
Yeah, exactly.
They should be better with how many he's done.
That was my issue. It was just like, I mean, again, I didn't hear that end part, so maybe I should give that a listen. But like the rest of the song, it was like every other thing he did, where it never seems like he tried to do anything interesting. He was just like, I have metal guitar, I do the riff as simple as possible and play a song that people know.
And he's the multi-instrumentalist. Again, I play the drums, I play the guitar, I play all the instruments.
But they're all very, very straightforward.
Yep. No pocket here.
Yeah. So all right, so I only have notes for one more.
Okay. The Zoe Tigolo was bad. The Justin Moriello was bad. We had for some reason several that were like chip tunes.
Oh yeah, the 8-bit one was at least like I thought
these really failed the why. Like why did you do this?
Because that's just what they just like. Oh, here's a song. I will chip tune it. Is whatever.
This list started getting really, really unlistenable.
I
had heard the Andy McKee version before. I've heard of his stuff. He's not like unlistenable, but this was extremely boring and didn't do anything.
Yeah,
it's like, why did you do that? I kind of give up at this point. Oh, you know what? I like E-Rock. This cover didn't do anything. Which was one you had some notes on.
Well, okay, so actually, I guess I realized that part of the notes is that I couldn't actually hear it, but the Yacht Rock Review cover. The thing about the Yacht Rock Review that you need to know is that they are, at least for the most part, they are false yacht.
Correct.
They are truly false yacht. And they were even at. I mean, I think they made at some point they made nice and maybe even like started taking some direction from like the true Yacht Rock guys.
They have led many astray.
Yes. And I saw them back in the day before I knew this, and I was like, most of this is not Yacht Rock. This track of Africa is no longer on Spotify. The EP it was on is gone. My first thought was like, oh, maybe Toto fucking like revoked their cover clearance or some shit. I don't think that's really what happened, but I was like, I couldn't even listen to it. But I
couldn't,
good,
and I didn't try to. Like, I'm sure there's a version on YouTube somewhere, but I thought to myself,
there's only live version.
Fuck those guys.
I only want to judge the studio version because I know how they fucking sound live. Right. Yeah, fuck Yacht Rock Review.
Yeah, no, they're assholes. Fuck them.
If you want to hear how bad it was, one of the like the first I think maybe the third or fourth, either third or fifth episode of this podcast is the Yacht Rock Review, where Rich and I went to see them, and we're
self-plug.
Very disappointed. You know, you got to reference other episodes. For a second, I forgot that was this podcast. But 2013 that came out, which is, I think we saw them in like 2015. So it was one of the actual Yacht Rock songs they did, but they literally in this thing mention, oh, this is even worse, is they call themselves a cross between tribute, an original act, and a comedic troupe. And I did notice on Spotify when I was trying to find this that they have like apparently some original songs now, which is I don't even want to know. I'm sure they're not very yachty. And then a comedy. I do not remember them being funny at all.
I'm sure
I don't
they
know what the
think
jokes were
funny.
supposed to be. Maybe they were because like people were like all wearing.
Yeah, I have a silly hat. This
right,
is funny
everyone,
now.
fucking sailor hats. Honestly, for a while that was a good sign. You were false yacht. It was like not fucking sailor
pretty
hat.
Strong sign. Yep.
So Little River Band, no. Brandy. So yeah, that is I have to even though they supposedly made nice, I don't care. I've not forgiven the Yacht Rock Review for their crimes against
and you
yacht.
should not. They have not done anything to deserve forgiveness.
No,
so
I shall not. So there was like some dude just like playing metal guitar version. He's just clearly just like
I think that was
play
E-Rock.
anything. E-Rock.
He's got a lot of covers, and he seems competent, and he's usually having fun with it. But I don't think it was all that exciting.
Yeah, it's YouTubery.
Yeah, it is. He's been around forever. I'm sure it's a very old cover. There were some dudes just hanging out in a pizzeria that didn't do much. There was some big production live thing. I thought, oh, okay, this is there's a whole band here. And then I listened to it and I thought, wow, why does this guy have a band behind him? This is the Saint Lucia.
Saint Lucia, yeah.
This is terrible. Okay.
I
don't know how or why there was a big production and a band. I don't know why anyone would want to play behind that guy.
I just noticed it says his songs have been featured in commercials for Taco Bell and Victoria's Secret, which is quite a combination.
That is
which
something.
Songs? I gotta. We may have to do like a separate episode where we look up this guy's fucking Taco Bell and Victoria's Secret commercial songs and figure out. And I do remember actually, I didn't write anything down, but I remember watching They Say Fall because they
watching
have,
that too, and I completely forgot how it sounded.
It's
that's not a good sign.
It started off not terrible. It was pretty bad, but the main thing that was weird was they seemed to have some kind of a costume gimmick, but it doesn't make any sense. Like the one dude looks like they got wigs. The one dude looks like he's in a prog band, but then another dude looks like he's in a different kind of rock. But like it didn't really add up. And then at a certain point in the video, it seemed like maybe it was just for this video, and therefore maybe it is disrespecting Toto, which is not okay. Not even musically, like in a video, like, oh, this is what we think Toto looks like, and which they don't. It's not even like accurate. And then like you could kind of tell at a certain point, like the singer just looks like a regular, like, oh, this guy looks like the kind of band they actually are. And so that kind of, and I was at that point, I was like, oh no, this sucks. Yep. This is not appropriate. This is disrespecting Toto.
Yep, and you should not do that.
Yeah, and
strung up by the toes.
I had enough.
Yeah, and then everything else on those lists is just kind of so. But we covered a lot here.
Mm-hmm. Just there's so many other Toto songs. If you must cover Toto, there's so many other Toto songs you cover. Some which are not.
Hold the Line.
Yeah, Hold the Line.
Hold the Line is probably your best bet to cover. It's a very straightforward rock song. You should cover Hold the Line.
I would appreciate more obscure Toto covers.
I would too, but I worry that people would fuck them up very badly.
They would. But there are probably some that are a little easier. Like I've even tried to go like, what's more pull offable Toto covers? There's got to be some like
pull offable, but worth it is the question.
Yeah. Right.
Like. So I have favorite Toto songs that sure I'd like to hear more of favorite Toto songs, but I don't want to hear bad. I don't want to hear someone do I'll Supply the Love and not have an iota of groove or pocket, because if you do that, you should get fired into the sun. Yeah. And I don't want to hear someone do Mushanga.
You have not supplied the love.
And just be like, whoa, I'm an acceptable drummer. I can make Mushanga work, and you can't.
That has been my problem with thinking about covering Mushanga. Is I'm like, who is gonna play this? I can't program this drum part. That's not gonna.
I'm not sure that like I don't know that a Portnoy could do it right, because he's too. Portnoy.
He's not known for that.
He's not known for the groove.
I don't for that kind of groove. And honestly, the biggest criticisms people have of him are that he doesn't have enough dynamics, and therefore, that's a very good point. I have a feeling if they covered that, it would not be wonderful. And also I just had a
really, really excellent drummers.
I just imagined James LaBrie trying to sing Mushanga too, and now I'm very upset.
Oh, Jesus!
Right? You just thought of it. It happened, and you're like, oh no! Why did I think of that? Now I can't unimagine it. Very bad, especially because you know exactly how he would sing it because it's got the soft parts, and you know how he does the fucking soft parts all the time. Ugh. All right, I'm trying to see. Has Dream Theater ever covered Toto?
I wonder if I forget his name. The guy from Nowhere. That's a very technical drummer who knows how to groove.
Oh, Nowhere. Oh, yeah, that's. Oh, absolutely. They played a jazz festival. Yep. That was when I saw them. And so, they could do. Have they done any? No?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen any covers from them. Obviously, they're a little more like kind of low. I don't know if I'm gonna call it lo-fi production, but kind of a little.
It is usually
a little dirtier,
right? Because it's usually just like recorded in like I think that guy's house or something.
Yeah,
and so
something like that. Still a lot of really good stuff. And if I thought there was a drummer, just a current one that I kind of know of that I would give a chance, he would certainly be one of them. What the hell's his name? I can't.
Lewis Cole.
Lewis Cole. Ah, there it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, he's really good. Apparently, Dream Theater has never covered Toto.
Good.
Which, you know what? Well, no, wait. Let me take that back. Other than on When Dream and Day Unite, because that album basically is their album that sounds a lot more like Toto, and they should have kept more of that and a little bit of Images and Words, but they didn't actually cover them. So,
all right. You know who probably could have covered Toto would have been Rush, but why would Rush have covered?
Yeah. I think they're in a different zone of really great band, and they probably could have, but yeah, maybe they wouldn't have.
Pretty sure there was nothing Pert couldn't have accomplished.
It
would have been a different sound being a 3-piece instead of like 7 or 8 guys, or however many the actual production ended up being.
Yeah, but they were like almost too contemporary with them. Like they did a cover album, but it was more like older, like stuff from when they were kids or whatever. Yep. And so Toto would have been actually. I mean, it's possible I remember.
They may have played together.
They probably played together. Oh wait, that was the thing. There was a story about Rush like supposedly pulled the plug on Toto. That was the stories that. Yeah.
Tell me what's up.
Steve Lukather recalls Rush's attempt to sabotage Toto. This is weird because I really can't imagine Rush doing this. They might, maybe they did, or maybe
sounds
it was
like
a
clickbait
manager?
Headline. Let's be real.
It could be. Okay, let me check it out. We opened for Rush and they pulled the plug on us. I guess we were going down too well and they pulled the plug on us. It was fucking weird. I get it, but it was like being the opening band and treated as such. I'll put it that way. It was back in the 70s. If you were the opening act, the headliner could fuck you. Number 2 lights or something else. I think we had innocently gone like 30 seconds and all I heard was Jeff playing drums and Lenny playing percussion.
I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. That sounds like this is an interview with Luke.
It is.
Luke.
And I really don't see, I could be wrong and maybe, but like they don't seem like that's their personality. It's like if anything, either there was literally just a power failure and he blamed it on them, or like someone in management, someone in the crew, someone tripped over a power plug. I don't see Rush being the type to be like, they sound too good. Like, no, their Rusher's going to be like, rock on, guy. Like, good job.
Yeah,
like, it's unfortunate because this is probably maybe that's why they weren't buds. Rush and Toto could have been.
You have to take everything that Luke says in every interview.
That's true. That's true.
A fair amount of salt.
Both.
It's his personality. It is what it is.
Both because his personality, he doesn't have an amazing sense of humor. He's not crazy about yacht rock, and despite helping birth it, and he did a lot of drugs, as he talks about. So he was probably, he may have had a gut reaction to that situation. But
see you next time, everybody.
See you next time. Like and subscribe. Leave I think a rating and a review on Apple if you use that, because that's the thing that's good for podcasts, I've been told, or at least it used to be. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, and no, definitely leave your Weezer hate. I welcome it.
Oh yeah,
I will laugh at you. I will enjoy it. That will be fun for me. So please do it. Thank you.
Right on. Bring it. All right, I'm turning it off now.